Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome back, my lovely audience. I'm Dr. Alkistis Agio, presenting to you from live Athens, Greece, where I share Greek philosophy, my three-step method to help you transform fear into freedom. Before we get into today's show, I want to remind you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio, and also to the channel of my producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I also wanted to thank you dearly for making my show one of the top 10. I got this beautiful t-shirt from my producer, top 10 shows on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm so proud. Let's welcome our guest today, Patrick Sangiamino. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. He is a retired journalist. Welcome, Patrick. And you're also an author.
I am, and you did pronounce it perfectly, so thank you for that.
Io parlo italiano. I speak Italian, so I imagine our forefathers were from Italy and immigrated to the United States. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely.
With Greeks and Italians, una faccia, una razza. Yeah, I love Italy. I love traveling there. Have you been to visit your forefathers' land?
I have not yet, but everybody in my family has and mocks me because I haven't yet. So
okay,
it will be one of those things I do soon. It's definitely on my bucket list.
Okay, can you pull back a little from the camera so we're just the same size? Okay, wonderful. Tell me a few words about your book so that we can then proceed with my three-step method and how it can help you transform your life for the better.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I'm going to move a little bit so that window is not in the background. So, are you still there? All right. So, the name of the book is Dogs Chase Cars, and it is basically about the downturn of the newspaper industry through the eyes of a longtime newspaper columnist, who's driving to work one day expecting to lose his job in a mass layoff.
Mm-hmm.
The book takes place over a single day, but flashes back over his life to the stories he's covered, the relationships he's garnered along the way, the ones he's failed with, and the ones that helped him get to where he is.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. So it's a biop, in a way. It's a loose biop.
Very loose. I mean, the story itself. There's a lot of me in it, but the story itself is fiction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. They're loosely based on, like many authors do.
Yeah.
So today, I want to share through working with you uh, my three-step method, which is based on Greek philosophy, the three golden principles of Greek philosophy to transform fear, anxiety, frustration into calm, confidence, self-sovereignty, freedom, and everything positive, happiness, what we all want. So, are you ready to get started?
Yeah, absolutely. If you could do all of that, I will. This would be the best 40 minutes spent of my life.
I hope so. Let's make it because it's going to be what we make it. And if you take it seriously, it can really actually transform. So let's think of what's your biggest complaint right now in life? What's the thing that's frustrating you most, or a fear, something you're angry about, or just generally a complaint?
Not necessarily complaint, but retirement creates a uncertainty of the future. What you're going to, uh, yeah. How do you fill out your days in a fruitful way?
Okay.
And it's why I write now. So, but making sure that I'm productive when I'm on the clock for me and not for my employer.
I see. That's a very good topic, and I'm sure that many people are dealing with the daunting experience of retirement or semi retirement when you've lived a very energetic life and you've had a lot of deadlines and a life full of purpose and drive, and then suddenly you're either retiring or semi retiring. It's a change, and any change is frightening to some degree.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's fairly unknown a
Right.
lot. Yeah.
What would you say the actual fear would be? Like, what's the thought? What's the actual narrative in your mind that, like late at night, the thing that keeps you up, the thing that makes you feel just unsettled? What would you say the actual thing is?
Um,
Like, what
Nothing
am
really
I going to
keep.
do? What is my life? Is
No,
it?
it's I have lived my life on a deadline schedule,
Hmm.
my professional life.
Yes.
And suddenly that deadline is not there anymore.
Hmm.
And adjusting to that takes some time.
So, in one or two sentences, what
Yes.
is the most frustrating or frightening narrative that goes through your mind sometimes?
I think sitting around and being unproductive. Um,
Okay.
I want, yeah, I'm in the final, uh, nobody knows how long they're going to be on this earth,
Hmm.
but it's safe to say that I am in at least late autumn, early winter of my
Right.
life, and I want to make sure that I'm productive in that time.
Okay. So, what would you say deep down inside? I'm afraid that.
I'm afraid that I I want to remain relevant. How's that?
I'm
I'm
afraid that
afraid
I
that
will be
I
I
won't.
will not be. I will no longer be relevant. That's the fear.
Yes,
Spot
yes,
on. See, it's very simple. I mean, once we focus on it, I'm afraid that I won't be relevant. I won't be useful.
yes,
Nobody will need me.
yeah,
I will just be forgotten.
yes,
I'm no longer that important anymore. I'm
yes.
afraid.
I think Hemingway wrote that a man suffers two deaths: one when he actually dies, and the other time when the last time they say your name. And how do you keep people from saying your name, or how do you maintain that relevance when you're gone, that they continue to say your name?
Right. So let's just go right to the inner narrative. Deep down inside, I'm afraid that I will no longer be relevant, that I will be forgotten, that I won't be useful. I
Yes,
think that's really what's on in the inner narrative. Now,
yes.
if that happens, what will be the bad outer consequences. Like if no one is saying your name, no one considers you useful, no one considers you important enough to mention you or to call you, what will be the bad outer consequences? What will it look like on the outside? Like the phone isn't going to be ringing, no
You,
one's going to
you,
call me, that kind of thing. What are we going to see? What are the consequences?
well, I don't know what the consequences would be.
If you could hypothesize, what would the bad consequence if they've forgotten you? So the phone isn't going
Yeah,
to be
you
right.
have just become an afterthought,
Okay. Say
and
I have just become an afterthought.
yes,
Okay. And
and
if that happens, what's the worst consequence for you? What's it going to feel like?
probably a loss of power, a loss of
I'll
uh,
feel helpless. Say in the eye.
helplessness. Yes,
I'm going to
helplessness.
feel helpless. I'm
Yes,
going to feel sad. Am I
yeah,
getting it right? I'm going to be
yeah.
a
Well,
little
I
bit
think
sad.
so. I think there's a desire by everybody to feel wanted
Forget everybody.
and
We're doing
needed.
you. We're doing you, Patrick. This is a personal session,
I
and
understand that, and
right.
I'm saying there's a desire to feel wanted and needed, and I think that would be a hard pill to swallow if
Right.
suddenly I woke up and wasn't wanted or needed anymore.
On a deeper level, if that happened, what would it imply about you? If nobody called anymore, hypothetically, what would it imply about you, your value, the value? What would it imply about you
It
if
would
that?
make me question if the first 60 years of my life were as worthwhile and meaningful as I always thought they were.
Okay, you're being very honest, and this is very brave of you. And believe me, your transformation will help other people who are in a similar predicament or have similar thoughts. Let's just say. So I'm just congratulating you that you're moving along bravely. Now, how do you feel when you believe that thought is true? How do you feel when you believe the thought that I wasn't important, I didn't have any meaning? What does that do physically? Physically, like, do you get a headache? Do you feel bad? Do you feel a little
No,
heavy?
I think you lose your will to move forward. And
Say
I think
say I.
I lose my
I
will.
would lose. I would lose.
Yeah, I would lose my will to move forward. I would imagine it, and we. I have always believed that you should learn something every day. You should strive to keep moving forward by learning every day, and whether it's reading or watching something or listening to a very insightful doctor, it's
Mhm.
these things matter. So
Absolutely. So
yes,
now we're going to go now to the transformation. We're going to take that fear, that frustration, that anxiety that you may be feeling and that may other people too. I feel maybe useless. I feel unimportant. I feel maybe irrelevant. And it would, if I feel this, it would say that I am of little value, that my whole work for the past years has been of little value. So now that's the narrative that sometimes is going in your mind. Now we're going to do a turnaround. We're going
okay,
to transform that fear-based narrative. And we're going to do that by asking 3 questions. And this is based on the Socratic method. The Greek philosopher Socrates invented a method for self-realization, self-reflection, self-liberation.
okay,
So the first question, because Socrates and the Greek philosophers in general were all about getting to the truth, the objective truth. So my first question is that story that you sometimes ruminate over, or that there's that story, that narrative that you keep telling yourself, I wasn't relevant, my life was not of any value, I have not helped anybody in my life, and maybe I don't have value. Is that true? Is that statement true?
No, no,
No,
none of this has ever been true. I you
it's
asked
not
me
true.
what I feared, but fear and reality, the reality of the situation is none of this is has come to fruition.
Exactly. So sometimes we dramatize, sometimes we generalize, sometimes we over personalize. And so we tell ourselves lies. It's self-deception, Socrates would say. So these thoughts that you have sometime of, I haven't been useful, my life hasn't had any value. This is a lie that you sometimes tell yourself. This is what Socrates would say. And so that's the first question. So we've determined that those thoughts are not true. Okay, that's the first step of stepping back and not allowing the thoughts that you have sometimes, not allowing them to be so affecting you. So that's the first leap you've made, is realizing and recognize that no, it's not true. I have had a worthy life. I have been useful. Some people still will consider me relevant. There are people who love me, and I believe in what I've done and I stand for what I've done. So the second question now is it kind? If you continue to ruminate on such thoughts or repeat these thoughts, is that a kind thing to do to yourself? Would that be a kind thing if you keep repeating those thoughts to yourself? Is it
No, it's causing self harm and self. Uh, you're you are
say
just
I sometimes?
I am blowing up but I am blowing out of proportion everything to a point where it's not real. It's self
Lowers your
defeating.
energy.
It's self defeating.
And imagine someone else were to tell you those things. You'd probably say, go away. I'm not going to listen to you. That's very mean of you to say. And yet sometimes we do it to ourselves with our thinking. Isn't that so?
Absolutely.
And so the last question is based on the Greek word logos. Logos is the root of the word logic. And it says, is it useful? Like, logically speaking, if I continue to have such thoughts, like I haven't been useful, I am of no value, I'm irrelevant, nobody cares about me. Is it useful to have such thoughts?
No, it's not useful.
It's not useful. So, what have we determined through this self reflection? This is what philosophy is, asking questions, being curious. And we have now determined that some of those narratives that you've been playing in your mind, and that we all do, especially later on in life sometimes, um, you have determined that they are not true, it is not kind, and not useful to you to continue to have those thoughts. So now I want us to come up with a new statement, because sometimes those thoughts will creep in on you again late at night, or sometime when you feel a little weak. They may creep in on you again. So we have to be ready with an alternative narrative. So let's see, now you're an author, so it should be quite easy for you to craft a new narrative for yourself, so that when the old voice, the old program comes in and says, you're not very useful, you haven't been relevant, nobody cares anymore, what new thought, what confirmation, what new narrative can you feed yourself?
Well, I set goals for myself every day, and they're far different than the deadlines that I was required to adhere by in the workplace. So the goals become more self-inflicted and or self-policed, I should say. Um,
Okay, I'm
so
not speaking about your goals. Listen carefully, Patrick. I'm saying when that old narrative sometimes creeps up, I'm not useful. No one, I haven't been done anything with my life. No one
yeah,
called me.
I understand that.
Can you
I
say as another narrative, like for example, I have been important, I continue to make a difference, I continue to write books, I continue to be on television shows and affect audiences, something like this is what I mean. Just
yeah,
give
absolutely. I was getting to that, and um, uh, kind of prefacing what I was about to say is I could lay down at night and say, "You wrote 1,000 words today. That's a good thing. You
bravo,
made progress towards your end result. The
bravo.
deadline that is self-imposed, you reached because you wrote those 1,000 words. And tomorrow you're going to write another 1,000 words, and you're
You're
going
a
to,
creator. You're a creator. You're still creating. You can tell.
yes,
I'm
yes,
still creating. I'm still relevant. I still have my readers, my viewers, like that kind of thing. I'm
yes.
making a difference, like that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So this is your new narrative. This is the thing you're going to keep repeating. So when the old, it's like a roommate you have in your head. When that old roommate tries to come in and tell you, you're going to be like, oh no, back off. This is what I really believe. Thank you, but I'm not going to take that old plate of food. I'm serving me this dish, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's
like
all
that.
about self-correcting. It's like you edit your script, Patrick, in the books you write and the articles you write.
Right.
You're literally, that's what my method is here to show, is that we can edit our thoughts. Just because we have a thought, it doesn't mean it's true. See, most people believe their own thoughts. And Socrates and Greek philosophy is all about, hey, hang on, is that true? You know? And that's why Greek philosophy is so important, and it's the birth of Western civilization, because it's, in a way, it's scientific. It's being more objective. You know, it's not about look. Oh, for example, in ancient times, if someone had epilepsy, they'd say, "Oh, he's possessed by some demon." And then the Greek philosophers came around who thought more scientifically, and they were like, "Hang on, is that true? He's possessed by a demon, or maybe there's something wrong with his nervous system." So it's all about this demythifying, debunking all the lies about what we think for ourselves and for the world. That's so it's all, Greek philosophy is all about clarifying, transparency, and being objective. And here you have been a living example of taking some thoughts you have and saying, time out. I'm not sure I believe that thought I had, that I'm useless or haven't had a life of relevance, that I haven't made a difference. I have written so many books. I have had so many subscribers. I have had people who love me. I have made a difference. So that's what it's about. How do you find the system? It's quite easy, isn't it? Three-step
Yeah.
method.
Yeah. Very simple. Just changing the narrative and putting a positive spin on it too.
Yes, make it empowering.
Yeah.
Not lying to yourself, not saying new lies like I'm the greatest author of all times. It's not that. It's that would be a lie. But I have written some books of relevance. I have changed people's views. I do have value. I have been told that I have value. I do have some people. I love myself. So we don't have to say another lie in the positive direction. It's about being more objective, but empowering ourselves too, of course.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's about being like objective, but appreciative too, like appreciating our life and what our the truth about our life. We don't have to sell another spin on ourselves. We don't have to lie again. And this, my method is in my book. This book is called From Fear to Freedom. Fear to Freedom. The Three Golden Principles of Greek Philosophy for Happiness. So I just want to thank you for joining. I believe, are we coming to an end? I'm not sure timing wise. Let me check. I can't see the timer really.
25:32.
25:32. I don't even know what that is. I have to check
You have
my.
10 minutes you got to kill with me
Oh,
now.
good. Because I was worried. Like sometimes I worry that we can't go through the 3 steps. But since we have 10 more minutes, I'd like to see a little about a little more how you think about these things. How about do you reflect on your own thinking sometimes? Do you do that?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Do you sometimes do self-reflection about your own?
Absolutely. I think yeah. I reflect on just about everything.
Mhm.
We're our own worst critics, and sometimes we're our best critics too. And the one thing that I've learned in the last few years is that it's important to take time to celebrate your victories and not just dwell on your defeats. So, yeah, I do. I do that a lot.
I mean, as a reporter, what kind of topics did you report on?
As a sports reporter, I don't know I don't know how much you know about sports and American sports being in Greece and everything, but American football is a big deal, and I was given the privilege of writing about American football for as a beat reporter for 8 years. So that was a lot of fun and an honor.
I'm sure. And you must have had many readers and many followers in that.
I had a few.
Good. And so, as a reporter, already you have practiced this skill of pulling yourself out of the scene and reporting like the facts.
Yes.
So that's already you developed that skill of objectivity.
Objectivity, absolutely, and trying to find both sides to a story. So if somebody tells you one thing, going to somebody else who might see it differently, and see where the differences are, and then finding a balance in the story.
That's exactly aligned with what the philosopher does, because the Greek philosopher is objective and says, look, hang on, I have this perspective that this is negative, but we have to take the other perspective that maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe it's not as bad as it seems. Maybe this bad thing is actually a good thing. And or maybe it's something else completely. So I think that you reporters and people who reflect like yourself, it's a very wonderful skill to be able to pull back from the screen. And I don't know if you know this famous diagram of the old woman and the young woman. A lot of people in this picture, they
Oh
see
yes,
an
yes.
old woman, and then some people see the young woman. And that's really in a nutshell this idea of, in the same reality there are many interpretations. And the Stoics used to say, the Stoic philosophers often said that it's not events that upset us, but our perspective of events. That's what makes us miserable. It's our perspective of the event. And so we have to free ourselves from our own perspective and get what's called the bird's eye view, the helicopter view.
Right.
This is what philosophy offers, and this is what journalism offers. So
Absolutely.
philosophy and journalism, there's that intersection, because you're looking for the truth.
Yes. No, that's a great way of putting it. Um, Objectivity is the root of what we do, and seeking objectivity and fairness and telling a story. It's not your story; it's somebody else's story. That's what we're charged with doing. And there's great responsibility that comes with that. and doing it fairly and honestly, and the way it should be done with care.
Absolutely. So all I'm doing with my method, my three-step method, is saying a little become like a reporter, reporting on yourself. Approach yourself with curiosity as if you're discovering yourself for the first time, because you have a certain idea of who you are, but you can be so much more, or just generally you can see your reality differently. That's what I'm trying to promote, a freedom of thinking.
Well, and I talked about learning something each day. I was honored to and privileged to work in a business where every story I undertook, I
Hmm.
learned something new each day, because you talk to people and you learn a new perspective, or you learn something you never knew about with a topic. And those sorts of things allow you to grow as a person, because now you have a at least a rudimentary knowledge of something you never knew before.
And it's amazing how we can keep learning our whole life long, and this keeps us young too. It keeps us curious, and we can always be learning. I mean, some people learn to play the piano at 70, you know what I mean, or 80 even. I've seen people acquire whole new skills, and this is intriguing. Even our brain, the experts say, the neuroscientists tell us that we are creating new synapses in our brain when we keep learning new things. So the brain, we can keep upgrading the software and even the hardware of our brain as we keep learning. So we are have only ourselves to blame if we are feeling older and without use and purpose, because now especially there's so much learning available, the YouTube for free, there's online courses, you can even join a Harvard University course for free, you know. So everything's at our fingertip. It's up to us to want to use it, to apply it. So I think you're a great example, Patrick, of a person who likes to renew and evolve, and you're curious about life, and that makes you a young soul in a way, isn't it?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I've always considered myself a young soul in that way.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of approach everything as with childlike curiosity, and sometimes it's okay to play dumb if you really don't know what you're talking about, and just say,
Sure.
take me through this thing. And I have no idea what the process is, and asking them to start at step one for you, and they appreciate the fact that you're taking that much care to get it right and to understand what they're
Of
uh,
course.
trying to convey.
What did they say in Zen? Beginner mind. Maintain the beginner mind. Be open to new ways of thinking, new learning possibilities. Beginner
Yes,
mind. I've learned, 5 languages. And like when I lived in Italy, I made a lot of mistakes when I was speaking Italian, but I didn't care. I just kept talking, I didn't feel embarrassed to make mistakes. And
right.
now I speak very good Italian. I mean, quite good Italian. And that's only because I didn't have the problem of sounding dumb, sounding stupid, sounding like I knew who I was. I didn't mind making mistakes, even if some people would laugh. Although the Italians were very encouraging. They're very, they're like, oh, you're doing great. Tutto bene. I
They
love
kind
my,
of helped you through it, huh?
oh, absolutely. They're the most friendly.
Good deal.
Yeah. I learned German like that too. I mean, it's just, that's the thing, not to be embarrassed to make mistakes. I mean,
Absolutely.
lifelong.
Yeah, and it's okay not to know all the answers.
Right.
It's why we ask questions. It's why we are curious about things. It's okay to rely on somebody else's expertise, and to not think you have to know everything they're talking about. And that's one of the eh, that's a skill in itself, is realizing what you don't know.
Right. And let me uh, close here our beautiful conversation with a quote of Socrates, the great philosopher, when he was told by the Oracle of Delphi that he's the wisest man in all of Greece. He said, "The only thing I know is that I know nothing." So it takes that modesty. And I wish you to continue in this beautiful path of learning, growing, and making a difference to all your readers and your friends.
Well, I appreciate you, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for sharing your process with others, and I'm sure you've inspired others through your steps today.
Well, you're very kind. I hope I've inspired at least one.
Of course. So I want to also invite every one of my viewers here to join on my group coaching every Thursday. And you can find that on my website, dragio.org. And if you want to join my group coaching, go to my website, and it's an exclusive group coaching, and I can answer your questions one-on-one, and you can participate in this wonderful learning and healing community that I've created. Live streaming from Greece every Thursday at this time. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you've subscribed to this channel, USA Global TV and Radio, and to Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck's channel, my producer, who I love so much. And thank you again for watching. Which of these 5 statements sounds mostly like you? 1. I often wake up in the middle of the night worrying about my future. 2. I'm angry or resentful towards a specific person. 3. I have anxious, obsessive, compulsive thoughts throughout the day. 4. I have an addiction like smoking, drinking, shopping, sugar, or social media. And 5, I feel that I'm wasting away my life. Hello, I'm Dr. Agio, and for over 25 years, I've been coaching and training people from all over the world to transform their fears, insecurities, anxiety, and anger into mental and emotional freedom. I'm confident that my simple 3-step method based on Greek philosophy can help you to transform into the joyful, confident, free human being that you deserve to be. I want to invite you to join my weekly online coaching group to finally get the results that you want. Look, you've tried it alone so far, and you've had some okay results. But let's face it, you're still feeling stuck right now, spinning your wheels. Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Now, unless you realize this as a fact, that you are a prisoner of your own mind, you can't move forward. I'm here to support you, as well as the whole community that we are co-creating. Stop feeling stuck. Stop feeling depressed. You don't have to do it alone, and alone isn't working anyway. Sign up today, and I'll meet you on the inside of our amazing weekly group call. I guarantee that you'll make progress from the very first session.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, only here on USA Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.